It's time, in the spirit of Inside Out 2, that we question what's ingrained, embedded, the beliefs we build all around us. Have you ever truly challenged what you were taught? Where you were told the vampires dwell, where illusions abide, what shaped your worldview? Today, we talk hermeneutics. Hermeneutics, that is, the methodology of interpreting texts, especially scripture and sacred writings, comes from the Greek, to translate or explain. It is grounded in the discipline that seeks author-intended meaning via context, history, language, and theology. In Christian universities around the world, hermeneutics is taught to train pastors, scholars, and students to interpret texts accurately, taking into account genre, original language, culture, and theological coherence. Every major Christian seminary and university includes hermeneutics in its curriculum. Reformation Bible College's Biblical Hermeneutics course teaches history, theology, and scripture interpretation. Kentucky Christian University offers hermeneutics to introduce traditional and emerging approaches, equipping students in critical examination. Liberty University's focus on history of interpretation and applying the grammatical historical method. Western Seminaries presents foundational principles and interpretive procedures. The Christian Leaders Institute and the Institute for the Christian Life offer free and low-cost hermeneutics courses aimed at lay leaders and pastors. Across denominations and continents, from Africa to Latin America, training in hermeneutics shapes preaching, theology, and global mission. Hermeneutics isn't just academic. It forms the bedrock of doctrinal clarity. It enforces the grammatical historical method, countering allegorical or subjective interpretation. It protects theology from exegesis, imposing outside meaning onto text. It anchors doctrine like salvation by grace and Christ's nature in authorial intent. It has fueled Protestant Reformation, liberation theology, modern evangelicals, and global Bible translation movements. It addresses modern hermeneutical debates, contextual interpretation, ancient Near Eastern setting, inclusivity, identity, and more. In practical terms, a hermeneutics allows a pastor, teacher, or believer to read Romans or Revelation with clarity, not emotion. It demands discipline before doctrine. Let's pause. Before modern universities taught this method, where did the very term hermeneutics originate? Here's the twist: a hermeneutics takes its name from Hermes. It's Hermes, yes, Hermes Trismegistus, the fusion of Greek Hermes and Egyptian Thoth, whose name literally meant a thrice great Hermes. The Hermetica, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, formed the foundation of Hermeticism, an esoteric tradition blending mysticism, alchemy, astrology, divine interpretation, long before Christianity absorbed any of it. The metaphor is striking. Modern Christian interpretation named for Hermes, messenger of gods, communication, wisdom, esoteric knowledge. The influence runs deep. Early church thinkers were aware of Hermetica, some regarded it as containing obscure spiritual truths, others rejected it. Hermeneutics comes from Hermes, carrier of meaning, ambiguous, metaphysical, alive with layers, not always literal. The root of method comes from techniques of interpreting hidden messages, even codes, and alchemy, not purely grammatical clarity. This is the mindset dominating the space: interpretation. But is it purely Christian? Let's examine Jesus' parable of the 10 virgins, Matthew 25 verses 1 to 13. 5 wise virgins brought extra oil, 5 foolish did not. At midnight, the groom came. The foolish virgins begged for oil but were shut out. In Jesus' words, I do not know you. Jesus concludes, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Key takeaway: faith and preparedness cannot be passed on. There is no transfer oil, each must keep watch. Interpretive belief cannot be handed like second-hand garments. One must possess. Consider Matthew 7 verse 6, "Do not give dogs what is holy, do not throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under your feet and turn to attack you." At face value, sacred truths, the pearls, are not to be carelessly shared with those spiritually unprepared, the swine. This verse parallels the parable of the virgins. Sharing without discernment yields loss, even persecution. Hermeneutics is valuable, but it becomes dangerous when offered indiscriminately or used to justify twistings of truth. Modern times often reject anyone who wants to simply share the truth they found in scripture, plain, contextual, literal. Why? Because the dominant narrative is interpretive sophistication, jargon, footnotes, multiple layers. But the story of Inside Out 2 shows something different. Emotion reveals truth beneath belief. Joy questions sadness, anger questions fear. All must be confronted. Likewise, simple truth, a single lamp of oil, cannot be stolen or passed. It must be chosen. So here's your call to action. Question the belief systems you've inherited. The spirit of Inside Out 2 reminds us that deeper emotions, sadness, anger, joy, fear, disgust, exist under the surface, and they ask us to reevaluate what we feel about what we think *we know. Apply that same courage to ask, was I taught to interpret for clarity, or to mystify? Audit your knowledge, is it author-intended or Hermes-inspired? Carry your own oil. Do not rely on inheritance, prepare spiritually. Your lamp must burn your faith with discernment. Share the pearls, but discern your audience star. If they trample them, do not rage, they show you their path, keep moving. In this episode, we began as Inside Out 2 encourages, challenging our embedded beliefs. We defined hermeneutics, traced where it's taught in the church today, examined how it frames theology, and then looked behind it to Hermes and even thought the esoteric roots people seldom question. Jesus confronted us with two tales, the 10 virgins, ready or not, and the pearls before swine, sacred or wasted. The common thread, preparedness and discernment. So I leave you with a question. Have you ever truly challenged your own foundational beliefs? Drop a comment below or reflect quietly. What's your story? What truths are you holding that need refining? As Inside Out 2 taught us emotion and Earth's belief. Dive deeper. Question everything. Gather your own oil. Thanks for listening. Keep watch. And keep the light burning. Imani.